Hello to everybody watching. So, I've done a lot of crazy ass videos on YouTube of this to that, but I think this video I'm going to be talking about my struggles with addiction and going through psychosis and then going through the blood cancer. So, we'll start with the addiction. I've done drugs like fucking weed, shrooms, LSD, Molly, sassafras, Xannies, Adderall, Oxy, fucking had tried meth once, didn't, you don't do meth, and definitely don't do Xanax either. When I took the couple Xanny bars, I had taken like 5 shots of Everclear, so I don't remember a lot of that. Don't do Xanax. I've done, fucking little of everything, but that's not what I'm going to talk about specifically, the addiction. I'm going to talk about the psychosis. And what the big driving to the psychosis, it was like stress-induced with drugs and other environmental things. So, mainly the drugs, mainly Adderall was the big, fucking pushed me into psychosis. And in psychosis, you spin a web of crazy, I don't, now, looking at it, I don't know why I believe that at all, but in psychosis, you spin this web of craziness, and it makes sense to you. It actually makes sense, because you did a bunch of deep thinking, and it made sense to you. So, the craziest things made sense. And I was getting messages from movies and TV in general, and then music, but, rewind a little bit. What else should I touch base on? Going through the psychosis, the mania, if it could be not a lot of mania to where you're out of touch with reality, but if it was a little bit of mania and you're just happy all the time, that'd be fucking dope. The mania was dope when it was just you're happy. But then there's the depression too, where I was fucking crying for hours for no fucking, it wasn't something small happened and I'd be crying for fucking hours. That shit's horrible. And, when I was going through the psychosis, I thought I was famous. And so I was getting messages from music, like I was talking about, and actually a Juice WRLD song. I can't remember which Juice WRLD song it was, but I thought he was trying to take my girl, and it was trying to steal my bitch. And so I got really fucking mad at him, and I love Juice WRLD. I'm a huge Juice WRLD fan. I'm why would you do that to me, bro? That's fucked up. And I got really mad at him, and and I thought there was cameras placed around the house, and celebrities were watching me, like I was a reality TV show. And so in the bathroom, I would it was weird. I'd be talking to myself because I thought people were watching me. And so I'd be like, oh, yeah. But anyways, so I got that message from the Juice WRLD, and then I got a message from, the movie Wreck-It Ralph 2, basically saying I was a terrible boyfriend or some shit, or a bad friend. And I've just had, other things talking to me, and then shit, and then the paranoia is not fucking good. And then it progressed to voices, where I was hearing voices in my fucking head. They were nice at first, and then they started to get mean. At first, they were helping me write music, and were oh, you're gonna be famous, keep writing. And then they started to get mean, and they're oh, this person is against you, and this and this. And one time I tried throwing my cousin's hat out the window, and I was fucking yelling at him because I thought he was making fun of the way I drive, which he wasn't even talking about that at all. And yeah, and then some friends, I flipped out on them because I thought they knew something I didn't know. And I just, like, I did a bunch of things I feel bad for, but, you know, like, I believed all these things to be true, and I really thought they were against me. And I was gonna touch base on something else too, and I can't remember. It'll come back to me. But yeah, getting the messages from everything, and then fucking just that. I also spent a bunch of money, like, not on me, on other people. I was buying people shit for, like, I don't know why. They're like, oh, I wish I could. And I was just buying people crap because I was in a good mood. I'm like, oh, I got this and this, and I was just buying. Like, I spent so much money going through psychosis, and even worse, I had a fucking nice credit score, and I applied for a credit card because I had a nice fucking credit score of like 7 something, almost 800, and fucking, oh my god, the fucking Maps credit, they gave me like $5,000 of credit, and my fucking crazy ass like spent $5,000 buying just random people shit. That was fucked. But also, yeah, and then there's the mania, then there's me crying for hours. Then because of the depression, I tried killing myself a couple times, but luckily told my aunt I was like hearing voices, and then she talked to my mom, and then my mom is in healthcare, and she works with people with mental fucking, like, people that go through psychosis, people with schizophrenia and shit like that, or fucking drug addicts that are going through psychosis and whatnot. Rehabilitation, and then also she works with fucking crazy people. Like, there's a word for the fucking mental health something. But yeah, she works with crazy people, so she fucking didn't notice it at first, but eventually she's like, oh shit, he's going through psychosis, he's going crazy. And so she had brought me up to Klamath, stay with her. I tried killing myself a couple times because of the stress of the relationship I was in, and then fucking just like, yeah, it was also like lack of sleep too. Like, I was working a bunch when I was living with my aunt. I was pulling doubles constantly, and like I even had a seizure from lack of sleep, and that probably didn't help. But anyways, when I went down to my mom's, she shot me up with a bunch of antipsychotic, and it leveled my ass out, but it was a little too much. It actually fucking made me like, oh, like a zombie. Like, fucking dead brain. And fucking, yeah, I kind of bloated up too, because it was like a bunch of antipsychotic that I didn't need, but it mellowed me out like super quick. And then after that, like, yeah, I started taking like small doses to just kind of balance my brain out and shit. But I think, is there any more I can cover on this? Probably. I'll get back to it, but let's start on the cancer now. So I actually thought I had COVID. And I was like, holy shit, I feel like fucking shit. So I called up my work, and I'm like, I'm not coming in. I'm like, I'm sick. I'm going to go get a COVID test. And they're like, okay, yeah, like, let me know what it fucking, what it says. So, yeah, my mom was down in Salem because she works down there at the Good Samaritan, and well, not in Salem. I think that's in is it in Albany, or where is that? Corvallis? No, Corvallis maybe. Where whatever I think that's where the Good Samaritan is. I'm not sure, but she needs to go down that area, and then she stays with my aunt down in Salem, fucking to go to her work. But anyway, she was down there, and so I couldn't really ask because everybody was fucking at work, and it was just me home alone, and I couldn't drive because I thought I was just like super sick and that I couldn't fucking do anything. So I couldn't call her, so I ended up calling my stepdad and like, hey, can you take me to go get a COVID test or some shit? Because I feel like fucking shit. Little did I know I was fucking slowly dying. But we'll get to that. So he went and took me into the fucking Sky Lakes assholes. And they're like, instead of actually giving me a test or looking at me and seeing what was wrong, they're like, oh, because I guess they're not assholes. They had so many people going in for COVID tests that they weren't going to test everyone with COVID. But because that's what I thought it was. And fucking, like, yeah, I went in there and they're like, oh, you just go to this place, down this way and this way, somewhere else to get a fucking COVID test. Basically, we're not going to do it here at the hospital, so whatever. If it's like urgent, whatever, then we'll do it. But yeah. So anyways, I had to go wherever, but I think it was closed or something, or I wasn't able to do it. And so I had to wait. And then the fucking next day, I was like, oh my God, it was so fucking bad. And I was like fucking pale white. And I thought I was just sick with COVID. And then, yeah, and then actually let me go back a little bit. So when they sent me, the hospital just fucking kicked me out and said, go to this place to do the COVID test. Like, walking from the car to the fucking, like, emergency, and then back from the emergency to the fucking car, I was out of breath. I almost fucking, like, dropped to the floor and passed out and fucking, like, I couldn't, it was like, I ran a fucking marathon. Like, I ran fucking, like, 6 miles. It was horrible. I'm like, fuck. COVID sucks. And, like, yeah, after that, fucking, the next day, I felt just even worse. And we all thought I had COVID. And so everybody was just going to probably let me go to my room and sleep. And if that happened, I probably would have been fucking dead by morning. Luckily, that didn't happen. Luckily, I don't know how this happened, but there was a patient at my mom's work where he got a false positive COVID test. And so it was one of my mom's patients, so she's like, oh shit, I've been around him. Like, I can't, I probably shouldn't go into work. I got to get tested. So she had to get tested for COVID. So she had took me to get tested. And she had insisted because I looked fucking pale white. And I was like, fucking, yeah. So she insisted that I got a COVID. And they tested me and I'm like, oh, it's not COVID. And they tested for the flu. And then, oh, it's not the flu. They did a bunch of tests. And yeah, and they finally did a fucking blood test. One sec. Hey. They did a blood test, and then, yeah, they told me and my mom, you can't be in the camera because your mom won't like that. So, yeah, they finally told me and my mom that, yeah, it's blood cancer, B-cell lymphoblast leukemia. I had blood cancer. And, yeah, it was emotional, and then, yeah, going through, like, the chemo, and fucking hated it, and then fucking, oh my God, like, I was in so much pain, fucking, from all the chemo and shit, and then losing my hair, and then, it made me sterile, so I can't have kids, and that was a very emotional thing about it too. And yeah, just being in the hospital for months and months on end, and all you can do is walk in a circle at in the hospital, and then like food was fucking gross because like the chemo shit, and then fucking losing all my hair. And actually, the first to go with the hair, surprisingly, was my pubes. My pubes started falling out into my underwear, and I'm like, oh shit. Well, my hair might fall out now because I thought maybe it wouldn't. But yeah, every fucking bit of hair, my eyebrows, everything fucking came out from the chemo and shit. But yeah, first was the pubes. It was weird. But yeah, the chemo was fucking terrible. And oh my god, that was the weakest I ever fucking felt. And because of that false positive, my mom was able to take me, and because I probably would have went to sleep trying to it's COVID, try to sleep it off, and probably would have been dead. Because when they fucking actually looked at my counts, I probably should have been dead. I was like you should have been dead, but I was still alive. And like at first they didn't think I had cancer because all of my cancer was just sitting in my fucking bone marrow. Like, wasn't fucking released. And if it would have fucking got released, like, it should have, it would have been spread everywhere, and I probably would have died sooner. So, yeah, it's crazy. It had to have been God's intervention of some sort, divine intervention. But, oh, yeah! Hold on, Blue. I'm almost done. But, anyways, yeah. And fucking everything was just low, like, I should have been dead. And I remember, like, Mom thought I had COVID, so she's like, oh, take a hot bath. And they had a jacuzzi tub. And so that was a bad idea. It dropped my blood pressure more, and, like, I almost passed out. I had put on my shirt on backwards, my pants were on backwards. I just put on my shit because I almost passed out and fell to the floor. And so I just fucking fell to the bed with everything on backwards. I'm like, yeah, that was a bad idea. I don't know why, but it didn't help at all. And then, yeah, it was hard to breathe because fucking red blood cells, carry oxygen. So she gave me an inhaler, and I'm like, yeah, that helps. And fucking just horrible. Like, I felt like she had to, but she finally got home and took me to get the COVID test, yeah, she had to fucking help me walk because otherwise I'd probably collapse. And then I was fucking white as shit. And anyways, when I finally got all the testing and then gone through all it was months and months in the hospital, and then fucking pain and just, not being able to have kids now. It's just, I don't know, it's fucking... I don't recommend going through cancer, and it's fucking horrible, but it's been first couple, almost 2 years, so by 5, that means not indefinite, but most likely it's gone, so can I touch base on anything else right now? Thank nurses and doctors for helping me out with both incidences. I appreciate that shit, and I appreciate medicine. And hopefully cancer research progresses to the point where you don't need chemo. Oh, yeah, that was the weakest I ever felt in my life. Everybody, like, with the cancer. Like, I used to be decently, like, I can't lift shit. I am so weak now, and I'm going to the gym every day trying to fucking get my strength back or even better, but, yeah, it made me weak as shit. being in fucking the hospital. I tried walking every day, but you only walk around the fucking hospital in a circle. In the fucking hospital. And then it just came up in the chemo and just everything. I got so fucking weak. The weakest I've ever fucking felt, but I've been working out. I feel a lot better, and not to my full strength, but hopefully I can get fucking past what I was before. I'm just gonna, keep going until I'm stronger than I was before, because, it just weakest I've ever felt. I can't think of anything else to touch base on right now, but maybe I'll make a part 2. Alright, love you guys.